Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. Today is going to be the dark moon. So we have another dark moon reading. It is a very, very interesting reading again. You can have a look that we see that everything is again in nearly a cluster. And now also half of the chart is more or less empty. Just the descending node is here. But now it's on the other side. Before we had a similar situation, but on the other side of the chart. So in a way that is moving around the topic. Now the sun and moon, the conjunction of the dark moon is in Gemini. So remember, the sun represents our consciousness. The moon represents our feelings, our soul. Now something is happening in consciousness. Now there is communication between our pure consciousness and our feeling. And this goes much deeper than just talking about emotion. And it's interesting, I just realized I was talking about consciousness and the consciousness level last Saturday, and it makes even much more sense. Have a look at this chart that I did to measure the consciousness level, because this is now very important. Now, the moment in Gemini, which is connected with Mercury, Mercury represents our ego, our personality. Now, you know, if you look into the mirror, what do you see? You see your body, you see your eyes, you see your mouth, your nose, your hand, whatever. So you say, I have eyes, I have a head, I have hands, but this is not who you are. You are not the body, you're not your eyes, you're not your head, you're not your hand. This is your body. And that what is inside of your body and looking out of your body, hearing through your ears, talking through your mouth, is that divine part which represents your consciousness. Now, when consciousness is coming into first house, we can see that this can be a very powerful awakening process again for people to realize what consciousness really is. You know, once you realize that you are not this body, but that you are consciousness in this body, that you are not the ego, the personality, but this personality that you have created for this lifetime, this avatar, we can say, is important for you to experience and to fulfill that role, what you have, the goal that you have set up for yourself in this lifetime. So this can be a process that this becomes much, much more clear, even if Mercury and Venus are in 12th house. But this is important. The 12th house helps you to see inside. So Taurus in 12, something is materializing within you now, but maybe not that you can understand it with your head. You might feel that something is shifting and changing, but you don't know exactly what it is, because again, I said in other videos before, you cannot know what is coming because we have no reference in the past to what is coming in the future, because we have never been in a situation like that. Now, inside of us with Venus and Mercury, we start to manifest something that is not yet visible. But with Moon and Sun in Gemini, with that communication, we can say the communication with the soul, the awareness of the soul, something new can come in that will help us to create that new timeline for us. We have never been there. Now, the timeline have split. There are many people who will not move on in a higher timeline, in a more harmonious world. There are many of those, and I don't believe that there are only two timelines. I believe there are many, depending on that consciousness level. And I refer again to my consciousness level map that I did, that you can find in my last blog. I will give you the link again, because I really think this is very important to understand, because once you understand the consciousness level, you can see also where you are. And this helps you to move forward, to move to a higher consciousness level, to move forward on your path of evolution. Now, you can see we have two very massive squares, and this is the challenge. One's going to Mars, Pluto, and the other one is here from the Sun, Moon conjunction coming up here to Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is still in Pisces, and again, we have that 12th house topic again. We have Jupiter, we have also Neptune now, we have Chiron, we have Mars. This is all in Pisces. And again, you know, how can we manifest a new world, something that has never been yet, if we try to listen to our rational mind and try to use the past to predict the future? This is not going to work. And this would bring us in a horrible situation, because I don't think that anybody want to be there. We don't want to repeat again and again what happened before. This planet Earth is probably one of the most difficult places to live. We have many, many different other planets out there that have gone through an ascension process already. And I would say that those who are out there helping us, they are not violent. They don't want just that bad things are happening. They are afraid actually that the earth is being destroyed. That's why Gaia has called out for help. Mother Earth has called out for help about 8 years ago, I heard. That this is why others are involved now to help us to move forward. And there is much, much more going in the background. You might have heard about the med beds and free energy and a lot of stuff like that. This is, everything is already here. But you can also see that in 12th house here, in 11th house, Pisces, everything cannot come to the surface yet. And I'm not completely sure if this is because the consciousness level of humanity is not completely ready. Definitely we can say something is not ready yet. And I believe also it has something to do with the consciousness. And now is a big chance that a lot more people wake up, because now the expansion in the outside is not possible anymore. In the moment, if you try to have a new business, a new whatever venture, unless it is in harmony with the goal of a positive evolution moving forward, will not happen. Everything moves in the way that is an obstacle, and things cannot happen. So any negative thing also we can see with the elite and what is happening there. Everything what is negative is now torn down, is now kind of taken apart. And this is why I am absolutely overwhelmed with the information that is coming in the moment right now. It's no way I can keep up. I cannot read hundreds and hundreds of messages, listen to videos, whatever, a day. Before, like even a year ago, it was much less, but now it's coming really like an avalanche. Now, it is important that some people read this, some people read something else. It doesn't really matter what you read or what you look at. What is really important is your personal process in that. How much can you digest to look at and still remain positive? I feel sometimes when I read or when I watch some videos, I have to cut off, I have to stop, and I have to walk away, do something else to kind of focus again. Often I go in nature, or I go swimming or something like that to help me to focus, to stay in a positive wavelength. Now, the connection that we have, the challenges that we have is really to let go of the expectations that we had in the past. I think one thing that is also very, very important, like here with the Venus in 12th house, and here we have the yellow line to Neptune. This is an aspect that will liberate the female spirit. And I can imagine that all this gender confusion will also stop very soon. Because once you start to realize again who you are and why you have incarnated in a certain gender to balance the last part of whatever karma you still carry around so you can move forward, then it doesn't make sense to change your gender, because you won't finish your unfinished business. So once this is more clear again for many people, and here we can have with Neptune, it is like intuition. It becomes like that gut feeling that you reconnect to what you really have decided to be here. You see the Capricorn MC, the MC is the goal, is what we need to reach. Capricorn is absolute clarity. Now remember, Capricorn represents the skeleton, one of the images on the vertical line. That means that the skeleton is when all the flesh and everything's gone, you see the clear structure. And once you take away all the camouflage, when things become more clear, you also are more clear about what your reason for incarnation is and what you carry along that still need to be resolved. Now here we have this, the yellow aspect is a 72-degree aspect, is a Venus aspect, which is connected with creativity, is connected also with love. You know, it's very difficult to talk about love because most people don't really understand the word, what it is. It has really become a 4-letter word. When I talk about love, I mean this, it's more like if I would talk about peace. It is like to be at peace with all that is. Love is not an emotion. The highest aspect of love is not an emotion like you fall in love and you're crazy for somebody, or you love this ice cream or something like that. We're talking about something else. And I think it's a very good way to look at it as peace. You are at peace with everything because you're centered within yourself, and you activate your brain cells in the heart, which give you the balance and which help you to step back. It is kind of difficult in the moment because everything is still upside down. And I feel myself also because of the weather. And if you have watched the Schumann resonance of the earth, this is the resonance of the vibration of the earth, you can see there is also a little bit crazy stuff going on. And I was, for example, this morning, I woke up with a very massive headache, and I have no idea why. I didn't eat something bad or whatever, but I know exactly this. It feels like this pressure, you know, something is like pressing down, and this is connected with the atmospheric pressure. So if you have symptoms like that, and this is with the 12th house with Chiron here, that you might experience symptoms. When I was a child, I had often headaches. I didn't have headaches for many, many, many years. And now kind of it's coming back. So it's kind of like going through a cycle again. And this is kind of a release of something, because these are stuff that you have to balance. And with this, you know, I'm very much in my head. I'm actually born, I have a son in Gemini. So my head is sometimes really going crazy. And I was worried this morning, oh my God, I gonna do the moon reading. I hope I'm gonna do it right. And I'm still sometimes feel insecure when I approach it from the ego. But the moment I sit here and I connect with the chart, it's like I'm connected with my higher self. I'm connected, we can say, with the goddess within, and then it just flows. But when we approach life and we just go into the ego, sometimes things are happening that are experienced in symptoms. So if you have any symptoms, don't just run to the doctor. It won't help you. Because if you take chemical medicine, it may be, the pain is maybe going away for a couple hours or days, but then the problem is not resolved. So what I usually do, I just sit quiet and I drink water, or because here it's very hot in the moment and I'm dehydrated, so I need to really force myself to drink a lot of water. So figure out that water is connected with emotion, water is connected with the flow. So the moment I go and drink water, it's kind of slowly coming down, and I'm kind of more grounded again. So it is very important to keep the balance in our body, because when Chiron is still here in Pisces, it brings up all the hidden stuff that is not yet resolved. And also with Mars, again, it might be aggressive, it might come out strong. So observe whatever symptoms are coming out in your body, because they want to tell you something. And if you're not familiar with the book, The Healing Power of Illness, I would really recommend you to buy that one, because this is one of my Bible, because it helped me a lot to understand why certain illness symptoms I have experienced, and exactly what was the lesson within them. So I can learn a lot. Illness is a teacher. Illness is not meant as a punishment. Illness is something that you create if you are not seeing it in the outside, if you are not listening to the lesson that's coming forward to you from the outside world. It kind of falls into the body, and then the body is teaching you the lesson. For example, every time, like headache, typical thing is also about slowing down, being too much in the head. But you also know that the head can be together. It can be something from the stomach or from the liver, or there are many different aspects that are creating headache, or for example tension in the shoulder, muscle tensions. And this is also like, for example, tension, muscle tension, it says it already. There's too much tension in your life. Your muscles are not flexible or not loose anymore. So that means that you have maybe been manipulated in a situation where you're not flexible anymore, and you have to get out of there. So symptoms are in the moment a very great help to figure out what's going on. And see, with the yellow aspects that we have here, it is telling us, this is helping us to reclaim our creativity, to create something new. Now, the new that we are create will not manifest right now. We have to first go and finish all this chaos that is happening in the moment. You know, it all is what is coming now to the surface that we have to look at. And it's not that you have to look at everything, but definitely what comes into your life, look at it. What is very close into your life, look at it, because it comes to you, because you need to look at it. But then what you resist persists, what you look at disappears. That does not mean when you look at it that you have to carry it around afterwards, but it is like, go there, look at it, let it go. If there is something that is emotional, difficult to look at, send some prayers, send some love, send some energy. I just saw a message that one of the doctors that has been a very important whistleblower and really has been clear about what she believes had an accident, and she's in surgery. So what I do is I try to send her as much love and energy as I can, that she will get well very soon. But again, even if you're a whistleblower, if you're on that side to help to disclose what is not right, you still have your own personal karma. And we have to see very clear that Nothing can happen to you in the moment which is not connected. You have protection. Everybody does. Protection is very, very powerful. And those who are within the light, who walk within the light, the path of truth, the path of unique, to be who you are, authentic, they have all the protection they need. But some have chosen to leave, and that's fine too, because they maybe want to come back in a new body as soon as possible. So please don't judge. Those who choose to go, they have chosen, and it's not, neither do we have to be very sad, nor do we have to try to stop them from going. It is important to accept whatever is happening now and just work with ourselves without judging what others are doing or what is happening to them. That is also part of moving out of duality. Now, see, this is important in Gemini too. Now, Gemini, as Mercury ruling Gemini, is the two of the yin and the yang within us. That is always the two sides that are like, oh my God, should I do this? Should I do that? But we have two ways to look at it. There is one way, this is just polarity. Polarity is yin and yang, is like the electric pole of a plug, you know, that you plug in. You need both. You need the positive and the negative, otherwise you don't have energy. You cannot turn on a light if you have only one. And this is the understanding that our life force itself is yin and yang. Breathing in, breathing out, everything is in polarity. Otherwise, we cannot exist. But now looking at duality, duality is judgment. Like if you have, instead of on the positive and negative, you have good and bad, you are moving into judgment. And this is our biggest temptation, to judge everything to be good and to be bad. And again, if whatever happened, whatever karma is loose in the moment for many people, this is what has to be to set them free. Don't judge. It is just many times that something negative happened, when we look back a year later, it was actually the best that could happen to us, because we needed the change and we were too much into something that we could not see that we should move away from here. Now, this is a very strong situation like that, especially with all Pisces and 12th house aspect we have here, that many things happen that rationally we do not understand. You see, Mercury is in 12th in Taurus. There is a new way of manifestation of things are coming, but it's not visible yet. But that it can happen, like we have here also Saturn. Saturn is retrograde here in Capricorn. What we need to do is now to be very, very clear and look at everything what is coming into our life right now in this moment. Look at it so it can go away. Again, what you resist persists, what you look at disappears. You don't have to carry it around. Look at it and let it go. Most people still carry a lot of stuff around, you know, the idea of this is good and this is bad, and I have to be in this party and that party is not good or whatever. You know, there are people everywhere. There are good people that are on an ascending path, and they are the people who are descending into a different timeline. And they have chosen to do that. On the soul level, they all have chosen. We have no right to judge. We have no right to say you should, or if you could, we would have, you know, all this should, could, would, whatever. That's not bringing us anywhere. So look and focus on yourself. Go for your intuition or inspiration. Whatever comes, like, you know, what comes up from the belly, from the gut. Listen very carefully. Don't dismiss it, because this is a message that is very important for the moment, that might help you to see things much more clear than you did before. Now reconnect with your soul level. And again, you know, it's very easy if you start to have something like a little mantra in the morning when you get up. I surrender to the divine within. I ask her, he, whatever you want to say, to guide me, to protect me, to inspire me, to help me forward, whatever you need. And once you have given permission, your upstairs teams, as I call it, can work with you. But you also know that if you don't give permission, they cannot work with you. So now this coming couple week, one thing is look at things at the skeleton. Take all the camouflage and everything away. Dig it out and find out what really the message is. And even if you don't completely understand it, just leave it there. Don't expect yet clarity for anything, because things are still in 12th house here. Also, Uranus in Aries in 12th house together with the node is indicating that a lot of stuff is happening behind the scene. Some of you might see it, some don't. If you don't worry about it. It's happening anyway. And it is happening, it's going forward. The shift is happening. Nothing can stop it. And we just have to be patient and go step forward. I believe that we are very, very close to a big breakthrough. That is at least my feeling in the moment. But now, see here, we have to focus on the spiritual path, not the ego, emotional, whatever path, which would be on the right side. But the first house also to break through. It's like, you know, the Aries topic of breaking through is like that grass that come out, that little very fine grass that is able to get through a little crack in concrete and it coming out. And I've seen it many times, you know, there's a little crack and then a plank come up and then the plank grows and, you know, the crack become bigger and bigger. This little plant is able to crack the concrete away. So see how powerful it is. And this is the energy of life. The energy of life is stronger than anything else. We can say life and love, we can exchange the word, it's more or less both the same. And that's the kind of love I'm talking about, not about the love of emotion. So if you focus on your heart, if you focus, like sit inside of the piece. And this is why I have here my pink lotus, because one of my absolute favorite meditation. Imagine that the heart is the butt of a lotus. And then you breathe in light. You see outside or wherever you see like a sun. And with every breath, you see that the lotus is opening. And then you see how the lotus become bigger and bigger and bigger until you completely sit inside the lotus. The lotus represents the heart center. And this is that unconditional love as I see in it. And when you are in the morning, you put yourself inside of that lotus, you put yourself inside of that flower, meaning that whatever you do today is coming out of the consciousness of the heart. It's a very, very simple meditation and it's very powerful. And if you have people you want to help, if you have people that you want to send energy, just imagine that you also wrap them inside of a lotus flower. Or in the West is much more the symbol of the rose. The rose is the same symbol in the West as here in the East in Asia, there's the lotus. So you can use any flower you want, but generally it is the pink color. The white and the red is the unconditional love, is the energy of the divine within us. Okay, so I hope that helps a little bit. That's for the next couple weeks. Be careful, be good to yourself, make sure you get enough rest, drink enough water. That's a bit my problem, but I know I'm not the only one. Okay, so I hope that helps. And please, if you like it, give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a very nice dark moon.